Good evening and happy Sunday to you. So, I wanted to take a moment, if I could, before we get started with the next thought process on mindfulness, to acknowledge that for many, I would anticipate that it was as tough of a week as I found it for myself, that there was a lot happening in the world that I found unsettling, upsetting, and generally just something that I had to keep nudging myself back towards um, a positive space, a more clear state of mind, and not allowing the anxiety of the news, whether it be the earthquakes, the aftermath of some amazing storms, um, our political environment that we find ourselves in here in America. There's quite a lot happening, and I ask you perhaps to join me in the space of believing that we are, in fact, in transition. The power of that certainly is that with transition, it's not a place that you're stuck in. It's a place that has a beginning, it has a middle, and that has an end. And the end, none of us know. It's honestly something that none of us can genuinely foresee. And all that we can control, as I've said multiple times, is just ourselves and our own reactions. And certainly the words we choose, the reactions that we have, the conversations that we engage in, all so important. But the other piece, truthfully, is taking care of yourself and bringing an awareness to your thinking, and so that you can come forward in your life and in your words and your reactions in a space of integrity and perhaps a more positive frame of thinking will lead to more positive contributions to the environment around you. And you think that perhaps that won't matter, but it does, because if each one of us takes responsibility for that, it does matter. So I'm acknowledging for certain that this has been a tumultuous week, and that, like me, I'm sure many of you are sorting it out for yourselves. So let's acknowledge that, but not immerse ourselves in it. Just know that those feelings are there and those thoughts are there. And then let's come into a place of mindfulness. So join me in this mindful moment. So first things first, if you're sitting in a chair, come on actually on the edge of your seat with your feet flat on the floor. If you're sitting on the floor, just get into a comfortable space where you can just relax, align your spine, and take those deep breaths. And before we begin, let's do a little bit of relaxation of neck and shoulders where tension tends to snuggle in by just taking your chin over the right shoulder. Let your eyes keep going. And then bring your eyes back to the front. And let's do the same thing over the left shoulder. Just take your neck gently around. Don't force a thing. Peek over your left shoulder. And bring your eyes to me. Take a deep breath. So, with mindfulness, there's the opportunity to literally change our brains, change our thinking, and we change our world. So let's try mindful listening as a tool to ground ourselves in our bodies and in this moment, and so that we can be more clear and aware of our breathing, our thought processes, and our emotions. So if it's okay, perhaps you close your eyes. If it's not your thing to close your eyes, it's fine. You can just maybe lower your gaze softly down to your hands. And whichever you choose, take a moment to breathe into a calmness between your shoulder blades, a length along your neck, and open your ears. What do you notice as physical sound reaches your ears? Notice the texture of those sounds, the length, the tone, the volume. can you separate out the sounds? Can you hear your breath? What else is in your immediate environment? And notice perhaps what arises for you when you hear those different sounds. Again, just noticing, no judgment. There is no good sound. There's no bad sound. But it's interesting to notice that some sounds are more pleasing to us and to our ears, to our psyche, and others we might find distracting or annoying, just interesting. But let's make an effort to let the sounds just roll through. Just awareness of the body in a calm state, thoughts and emotions like a stream of consciousness. You're surfing the wave of emotions and thoughts with no attachment, and you stay anchored through your listening and your breathing. So taking the time to hone into one sense of your body, mindful observation, mindful eating, mindful listening. Perhaps it's tactile, if you're playing an instrument or doing art. Allow yourself to really notice what arises in you when you do those things. And in those moments where you slow down and really take time to come into your body, you're changing your mind. You're staying in the prefrontal cortex, which helps us to navigate and manage moment to moment in our lives in a more skillful way. So take another big breath with me. And perhaps this week, use one of your senses to ground you in a moment. Just do it for a few moments, literally a couple minutes. And perhaps you'll find that you calm your heart rate, that you're breathing more effectively. All of these things help strengthen your immune system, aid in digestion. They help you to stay in a better frame of mind. So I do wish you immense amounts of positive awareness, of peace, and as always, the best in me greets the best in you. Namaste.